Let's talk about how I created my own personal curriculum as someone who is a planner and loves to read. So, if you're interested, stick around. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching and joining me today. I hope you have a cup of coffee, your planner, or notebook because I am ready to dive into this topic. First of all, I know you see a lot of things on my desk, and that is completely okay. I'm going to talk about why I have all these books and what is their purpose when it comes to my own personal curriculum. Now, there has been a lot of conversations. I know definitely on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok though, but I saw on Instagram this whole conversation about personal curriculums. And I believe it was Elizabeth Jean or Parmesan Princess on TikTok who kind of started that trend. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. I'm just referring to what others have said. But anyway, I wanted to kind of develop an October personal curriculum for myself and my interests because I do have several interests that I think would kind of really help me out in my own personal development and my professional career. So I do have my planner here, of course, with notes. I have my little notebook in the back, but I'm going to open up to the section that I was using. And this is basically how it all started. I took my planner and wrote down notes. A personal curriculum is basically personal learning dedicated towards topics that you're interested in. And I have a window of October 1st to December 31st, but then I kind of changed it to where this is going to be my monthly curriculum. I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm aiming for 1 month and I'm aiming to get a lot out of it. But if not, then I will continue until November. But I really am excited about the topics that I selected and what I'm going to be discussing because I think it really goes hand in hand with what I am doing. So, the first one that I wrote down that I'm interested in is creative writing and storytelling. I think this is really important, especially when you are doing marketing or content and you really kind of want to tell a story. You really want to connect with your audience. It's something that I really feel would be important for me and something that I find fun and something that is really relative to what I'm doing in my scope of work. The second is digital creative design. I really want to learn certain design elements through Canva, and I'm going to be using YouTube University for that. So I did kind of create like a list and some links where I am going to learn about how to create digital designs using Canva. And then the next one is Latina women historical literature. This is a basis of like my notes. I am going to be going through the actual Trello kind of curriculum guideline that I created in order to kind of talk about how I'm going to break down my curriculum. So I wanted to make sure that I had that here and I wanted to make sure that I can reference this because this all definitely starts off with something that I created and developed, just thinking about what I really am interested in, what I wanted to learn. And between September 15th and October 15th, it's Latinx History Month. So that's why I really wanted to do Latina women in historical literature. So I do have my reasons behind it. I think storytelling is a great way for you to kind of connect with your audience or create content. If you're someone who creates content or you're someone who works in marketing or editing or any field where you are using your skills in writing, I think it's so important to have that. So let's go ahead and get into my list. I'm going to close my planner and she's looking cute. I do have like the Nightmare Before Christmas here and I got that at Daiso. Okay, so I just moved my planner out of the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reference basically my first curriculum and I'm probably going to share like a screenshot somewhere on the screen so you can reference it as well. But I have creative writing and storytelling. And basically, I'm going to use Stephen King's On Writing to kind of teach me the art of writing, to teach me the art of being creative and kind of learning through him about his process. And I really wanted to read this book, and I haven't had a reason to start, and now is the perfect reason. Now is the perfect time. It's giving me also that dark academia vibe. So I am going to read parts 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4 in the curriculum, and I want to make sure that I have it in parts and I could write down notes, and this is the notebook I'm going to use for that. I will kind of show you real quick. This you've seen before. I've written notes on books I was reading in here, and it's nothing super like pretty. It is literally nothing but notes, nothing but a lot of notes. And I'm going to continue using this book for that. And this is a Lloydstrom notebook. So the next book I have is If It Makes You Happy, and this is more like a romance fall book, and I really wanted to get this book because one, there's a lot of hype. Two, I wanted to kind of go in deeper in creative writing and connecting stories and storytelling and things like that. So I wanted to get this book for that reason. I have another book that I'm waiting on. It's You Again, and I think that's also a perfect fall book, but I'm going to read that in tandem with You Again and this, and that's going to be part of my creative writing and storytelling. So, looking at my notes, right? Step 1 before we jump in is kind of brain dumping your interested topics, okay? So those are my interested topics that I shared before. Step 2 is writing subjects based on those interests. So, creative writing and storytelling is one subject. And step 3 is gathering the material so you can then, in step 4, format your curriculum. So, step 3 and step 2 are kind of going hand in hand. My second one is digital creative design, and I'm going to talk about that real quick, but that's basically 2025 like graphic design trends, design styles on Canva, graphic design exercises that I can do and practice, and then Canva editor. There's different things that you can use on Canva editor to create designs, and my project is going to be creating a mock graphic design template on Canva, or templates on Canva, and that's going to be like my project. For my creative writing and storytelling, I'm going to be writing a writing project on dark academia. It's going to be like a little short story writing exercise, and that's the project I'm giving myself. And then the third subject or area of interest for me is Latina Women's Guide to Historical Literature. Now, for that particular one, I have three books here. The Beautiful Ones, which is by Sylvia Moreno-Garcia. I know she has a new book called The Bewitching, but I love this book. First of all, the cover is absolutely stunning. I almost do not want to read it because it's so beautiful, but I love her writing. I love the historical references. The next one is Anita de Monte Laughs Laugh, and this is a novel by Xochitl Gonzalez. This is another beautiful, colorful story, and I love stories that connect historical reference or talk about Latina women, their struggles, things like that. So this is another one on my list. And then Isabel Allende, Portrait in Sepia. I love Isabel Allende's writing as well. She knows how to connect magical realism with historical references and connecting you with a character. So these are the three books I'm going to be looking at. And basically, my curriculum guide is going to be Beautiful Ones first. And then my project is going to be a character analysis on Beautiful Ones. Then I'm going to read Portrait in Sepia, and this is going to be a writing project that I'm going to use for writing historical references in literature. And then I'm also going to read Anita de Monte Laughs Last as the last reading kind of like project that I'm doing. And that is going to have a project of connecting with the audience through character analysis. And I really wanted to have these three references as a reference for my Latinx History Month, as well as kind of diving into historical references. So I am definitely going to use my archive planner here. So I'm just going to stack these books. First of all, I'm just going to put this over here. We're going to make space. So what I plan to do with this is write in this cloth and paper monthly the goals that I have, and it's going to contain the three curriculums here. So the three topics in my curriculums. And I'm going to write that here. And then I'm going to write down what each of those goals are here, and I'm going to follow it along. I'm also going to put the dates. Okay, if you're someone who plans, you can put the dates of when things are due or when you begin reading a book. So if I start reading Stephen King on writing, I'm going to write down when I start, when I end. If I am reading, if it makes you happy, I'm going to put when I start and when I end. So I think this is going to be fun because I'm going to keep a track of how I am moving along in these subjects and these topics. And it's going to be something that I think will help me in the future to basically create a system that will develop me professionally, personally, and also allow me to grow as a person. So you can definitely use your planner to write your monthly goals, and you can use your calendar to keep track of when your assignments are due or when you want to plan out your assignments and when you are kind of like done completing them. So, once again, just to close out, if you want to go ahead and join me in this personal curriculum journey. First of all, you need to brain dump your interested topics. Second, you need to write subjects based on those interests. Third, you need to write the materials needed. So make sure you write down all the materials you think you're going to need. And fourth is going to be formatting your curriculum, tailoring them to your needs. You don't have to have it by specific dates and times. This is based on you and your needs and how you move along, either reading literature or you can move along studying different items. You can plan this out either via a month or however long it takes. It is really not a race. And I use this project planner by Cessa to literally write this down. And this is my on the go planner. And I love that I was able to use that. So I'm really, really excited about this. I'm probably going to be sharing a little more glimpses about my personal curriculum on Instagram. So follow me there if you want to see snippets of little things that I'm doing. And I will be also sharing the progress on YouTube as I go through my monthly curriculum in October. But I am so thankful that you all watched. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. It wasn't really as super long as I intended it to be, but it's okay because I think I had this super organized and in a way. But all the books that I will be using will be written in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, bye.